This is not another restart. This is not another moment of emotion that fades when pressure returns. This is the point where you stop pretending that effort alone is enough. Because effort without follow-through has already failed you many times. You don't lack motivation. You never did. You lack finality. You know how to begin. You've proven that. You've felt the surge. You've made the promise. You've told yourself, this time is different. And for a moment, it was. Then resistance showed up. Fatigue showed up. Doubt showed up. And instead of fighting, you stepped back. Not loudly, not publicly, quietly. You didn't quit in one decision. You quit in small permissions. Skipping once, delaying once, lowering the standard just once. That's how comebacks die. Not from failure, but from unfinished discipline. So understand this clearly. This moment is not about trying harder. It's about refusing to return to who you were. There must be a line drawn here. A line between the version of you that starts and the version of you that finishes. No more half-effort disguised as progress. No more comfort disguised as recovery. No more waiting to feel ready. This comeback will not be dramatic. It will not be visible at first. It will not be praised. It will be built in silence, in consistency, in doing the work after motivation leaves. Fall down if you have to, struggle if you must, but this time you get back up with memory, with discipline, with the understanding that walking away again is no longer an option. This is not about proving something to the world. This is about ending a pattern. And once you end it, there is no going back. You have to understand something most people avoid admitting. Your past attempts didn't fail because life was unfair. They failed because you allowed yourself an exit. Every time things became uncomfortable, you kept a door open in your mind. A door called maybe later. A door called I'll restart when things feel better. A door called I deserve a break. And each time you walked through that door, you taught yourself something dangerous, that quitting is an option. That lesson doesn't disappear. It stays. It waits for the next challenge. That's why this comeback demands more than effort. It demands a new rule. No escape routes. Because real change doesn't come from intensity. It comes from endurance. Anyone can be disciplined when motivation is high. Anyone can feel strong when progress is visible. But who are you when results are silent? When days feel repetitive? When no one notices? That is where identity is built. This time, you don't move based on emotion. You move based on commitment. You don't ask yourself how you feel. You ask yourself what was decided. And once decided, the discussion is over. This doesn't mean you won't struggle. You will. You will feel tired. You will feel bored. You will feel the urge to return to comfort. But discipline is not the absence of struggle. It is choosing not to obey it. This comeback is not about becoming perfect. It's about becoming reliable. Reliable to yourself. Reliable when it's hard. Reliable when quitting would be easier. You've lived long enough knowing how it feels to stop halfway. Now you learn something new, what it feels like to finish. And once you experience that, you will never negotiate with weakness the same way again. There will be a moment, and you need to expect it, when the excitement is gone. No rush, no fire, no emotional push, just work. That is the moment that decides everything, because most people mistake that moment as a sign to stop. They say the spark is gone. They say something feels off. They say maybe this isn't meant for them. That's a lie they've repeated for years. The truth is simpler. The mind always resists consistency, because consistency removes drama, and drama is where excuses hide. This is where your comeback either becomes real or becomes another memory you avoid thinking about. Understand this clearly. The hardest part of change is not starting. It's continuing without emotional reward. There will be days when progress is invisible, days when effort feels pointless, days when the old version of you feels closer than the new one. Those days are not setbacks. They are the test. This time, you don't look for signs. You don't wait for reassurance. You don't ask if it's working. You work because you said you would. That's it. No negotiation, no reinterpretation, no lowering the standard to protect your mood. You are not building motivation anymore. You are building trust with yourself. And trust is built the same way strength is built, under load, repeatedly, without shortcuts. Every time you stay when leaving would be easier, you separate yourself from who you were. Every finished day becomes proof that this comeback is not based on hope, but on discipline. You may fall again, you may struggle again, but this time you don't disappear. You get back up faster, quieter, more aware.
because now you understand something that changes everything. Starting made you feel good. Finishing will make you different. And that difference, earned, not imagined, is the comeback that lasts.
There is something else you need to face now. The reason you struggled before was not a lack of ability. It was a lack of patience with yourself. You expected transformation to feel rewarding quickly. You expected effort to return confidence immediately. And when it didn't, you questioned the process. That questioning is what slowed you down. Real change does not announce itself. It doesn't give feedback every day. It works quietly, below the surface, while you doubt it. Most people quit not because the work is too hard, but because the silence feels uncomfortable. No applause, no visible progress, no reassurance, just repetition. This is where discipline separates itself from motivation. Motivation wants proof before it continues. Discipline continues until proof is forced to appear. This comeback is built on patience you didn't have before. Patience to repeat the same effort even when nothing seems to change. Because something is changing, you just don't see it yet. Your tolerance is increasing, your standards are solidifying, your excuses are losing strength. Every day you stay consistent, the old version of you loses influence. And one day, quietly, you will notice it. The hesitation you once felt will be weaker. The resistance will arrive later. The urge to quit will sound less convincing. That's not motivation, that's identity shifting. This time, you don't rush the process. You don't demand results on your timeline. You let the work reshape you at its own pace, because you finally understand something important. The goal was never just the outcome. The goal was to become someone who does not stop. And once you become that person, results are no longer a question. They are a consequence.
There will come a moment when the old version of you tries to return. Not aggressively, not loudly, casually. It will remind you how easy life felt before discipline, how comfortable it was to lower expectations, how familiar it felt to quit without consequences. That voice is not your enemy. It is your past asking for relevance. And this time, you don't argue with it. You don't fight it emotionally. You don't try to silence it. You outgrow it. Growth does not come from destroying who you were. It comes from refusing to live there again. You have already paid the price of comfort. You know exactly what it costs. Stagnation, regret, the quiet frustration of unrealized potential. This comeback exists because you finally stopped romanticizing ease. Ease never built confidence. Ease never built strength. Ease only delayed accountability. Now, when resistance appears, you don't personalize it. You don't ask, "What's wrong with me?" You understand it as part of the process. Resistance is proof that something real is happening. Every serious transformation creates friction. Every real commitment attracts discomfort. And this time, discomfort does not scare you. It grounds you. Because you no longer measure progress by how you feel. You measure it by what you complete. One finished task, one disciplined day, one moment where quitting was easier and you didn't. These moments stack quietly. They don't announce themselves. They don't ask for recognition, but they change you. And one day, without warning, you will realize something powerful. You no longer need motivation to continue. Momentum has replaced it. Not because things became easier, but because you became someone who does not turn back. That is when the comeback stops being an effort and becomes a direction. And directions, once chosen deeply enough, are not questioned again.
At some point, you will notice a shift. Not outside, inside. The work will still be hard. The days will still demand effort. But something subtle will change. You will stop asking for permission to continue. Earlier, every step required reassurance. You needed signs. You needed progress. You needed proof that the sacrifice was worth it. Now, you move without asking. That is discipline taking root. Discipline is not intensity, it is certainty. Certainty that no matter how the day feels, the standard does not change. You stop negotiating with time. You stop negotiating with mood. You stop negotiating with comfort. You simply execute. This is where most people never reach. Not because they aren't capable, but because they leave too early. They quit right before this moment. The moment where effort becomes identity. You didn't come this far to repeat the old cycle. You didn't endure this much resistance just to walk away when it finally started shaping you. Now you understand something crucial. The comeback is not about proving strength. It's about removing the option to retreat. There is power in knowing that regardless of outcome, you will finish. That power changes how you carry yourself, how you speak, how you decide. You move differently when quitting is off the table. Even setbacks feel different now.
They don't trigger collapse, they trigger adjustment. You fall, you learn, you stand again, without drama. Because drama belongs to uncertainty, and you are no longer uncertain. You chose this path deliberately, and deliberate choices don't need constant validation. This is the moment you stop chasing the comeback and start living as the person it created. Quiet, focused, unbreakable. And once you reach this point, there is no version of you left that wants to go back.
Now the real test begins. Not the one that looks hard, the one that looks ordinary. Routine days, unremarkable hours, nothing dramatic pushing you forward. This is where people drift. They don't fail because they collapse. They fail because they loosen. They allow small compromises, a skipped session, a shortened effort, a justified exception. And those exceptions begin to rewrite the standard. This time, you guard the standard. You understand that consistency is fragile. It doesn't break from pressure. It breaks from permission. Permission to relax too soon. Permission to delay once more. Permission to believe you've already done enough. Enough is a dangerous word. It ends momentum. So you stay precise. You show up when it's boring. You complete tasks without emotional reward. You finish days that feel empty of progress. Because this is how strength compounds. Not through peaks, through repetition. You are not chasing intensity anymore. You are building reliability. And reliability changes everything. People trust what is consistent. Your mind trusts what you repeat. Your identity forms around what you refuse to skip. Every ordinary day you finish adds weight to the new version of you. The old version relied on bursts, on mood, on motivation. This version relies on structure. Structure keeps you moving even when desire disappears. And understand this, desire will disappear again. That is not a flaw, that is the design. So when it does, you don't panic. You don't question the path, you continue. Because now you know the difference between feeling strong and being strong. Feeling strong fades, being strong remains. And the comeback you are building is not meant to impress anyone. It is meant to last. That means choosing discipline over excitement, again and again, until the choice no longer feels heavy, until it simply feels like who you are.
There will be days when progress feels invisible. No feedback, no confirmation, no moment that tells you you're doing it right. Those days matter more than the visible ones, because they force a different kind of strength, the strength to continue without evidence. Most people need proof to believe. You are learning to believe without proof. That shift changes everything. Earlier, you worked hard when results were close enough to touch. Now you work even when the outcome feels distant. This is not blind effort. This is trust in the process you chose. You stop asking, is this working? Because you understand the question itself is a distraction. Work works when it's uninterrupted. So you protect the work. You limit noise. You reduce comparison. You stop measuring yourself against timelines that aren't yours. Comparison weakens focus, and focus is the currency of a comeback. Every time you compare, you hand control back to uncertainty. This time, you keep control. You move forward quietly, not needing to explain your pace, not needing to justify your patience. Because patience is no longer passive for you. It is active discipline. You are patient with results, not with effort. Effort remains non-negotiable. And slowly, something powerful happens. The work starts to feel normal, not heavy, not heroic. Normal. That's when you know the shift is real. When discipline no longer feels like sacrifice, but like alignment. You're not forcing yourself anymore. You're expressing who you are becoming. And that identity doesn't rush. It doesn't doubt. It doesn't retreat. It keeps moving. Even on days when nothing seems to change, everything is changing. Because the strongest transformations happen quietly, when no one is watching, and quitting would be easier. And you don't quit. Not because you're inspired, but because this is who you are now.
At this stage, something becomes clear. The comeback is no longer about proving anything. It's about maintenance. Maintenance of standards, maintenance of focus, maintenance of the identity you've started to build. This is where many people make a quiet mistake. They assume the hardest part is over. They relax attention, they loosen discipline, and slowly the old patterns look for a way back in. Not as failure, as familiarity. Familiar routines, familiar distractions, familiar excuses dressed as balance. This is why awareness matters more now than effort. You don't need to push harder. You need to stay sharp.
Sharp enough to notice when discipline turns casual. Sharp enough to catch small slips before they grow. Sharp enough to remember why this started. You didn't come this far to return to comfort. You came this far to build something permanent. Permanent doesn't mean extreme. It means stable. You choose sleep that supports your work. You choose habits that protect momentum. You choose environments that don't pull you backward. These choices don't feel dramatic. They feel mature. Maturity is choosing what sustains you, not what excites you temporarily. And this is where confidence changes form. It's no longer loud. It doesn't announce itself. It shows up as calm execution, as quiet certainty, as the ability to keep moving without emotional swings. You trust yourself now, not because you feel unstoppable, but because you've stopped lying to yourself. You know you will show up. You know you will finish the day. You know you will correct instead of collapse. That trust is the real reward. And once it exists, you stop fearing setbacks, because setbacks don't erase identity, they refine it. This is not a comeback fueled by emotion. This is a comeback sustained by awareness. And awareness, once developed, does not disappear. It watches, it adjusts, it keeps you on course, quietly.
Now you begin to understand why most people never make a real comeback. They mistake intensity for commitment. They push hard for a short time, expecting that force will carry them through. And when force fades, they assume something went wrong. Nothing went wrong. That was always the limit of intensity. Commitment works differently. It doesn't surge, it settles. It becomes a quiet agreement you don't revisit every day. At this stage, you stop asking how far you've come. You stop counting days. You stop needing milestones to stay engaged. Counting progress too often weakens patience, and patience is now your advantage. You've learned how to work without constant reward, how to move without applause, how to continue without reassurance. That skill is rare. Most people need noise to stay alive in their effort. You've learned to function in silence. Silence sharpens focus. Focus eliminates waste, and waste is what used to drain you. You don't argue with yourself anymore. You don't create inner debates. You don't spend energy convincing yourself to do what was already decided. Decision fatigue disappears when decisions are no longer negotiable. This is where efficiency is born. You move directly to action. You complete what's in front of you. You close the day without loose ends. Loose ends used to follow you into tomorrow. Now they don't exist. And something else happens here. Your sense of time changes. You stop rushing outcomes. You stop fearing how long things take, because you are no longer racing against motivation. You are moving with direction. Direction gives patience its strength. This comeback is no longer fragile. It doesn't depend on mood. It doesn't depend on circumstances. It depends on one thing only: your refusal to abandon the standard you set. And that refusal, quiet, consistent, unshakable, is what finally separates this attempt from every one that failed before.
There is a deeper change happening now, even if you haven't named it yet. You are no longer reacting to life. You are responding to it. Before, every setback felt personal. Every delay felt like a judgment. Every mistake felt like proof that you weren't built for this. That mindset drained you. Now, setbacks are information, nothing more, nothing less. You don't attach emotion to every outcome. You don't let one bad day rewrite your identity. You correct, you continue. That emotional distance is not coldness, it is control. Control allows you to stay steady when things don't go as planned, and things will not always go as planned. The difference now is simple. You don't collapse when reality pushes back. You adjust the plan, not the standard. This is where mental strength becomes visible, not in how hard you push, but in how little you panic. You've learned that frustration is temporary, but quitting creates permanence. So you don't quit. You pause if needed, you recover when required, but you never disappear. This is the discipline that lasts. You are no longer driven by urgency. Urgency burns fast and dies quickly. You are driven by intention. Intention doesn't rush, it doesn't beg, it doesn't demand instant results. It stays. And because it stays, you stay with it. This is the stage where the comeback becomes self-sustaining. You no longer need reminders of why you started. Your actions remind you every day. Each completed task reinforces the truth. You are capable of following through. That belief is no longer motivational. It is factual. And once something becomes factual in your mind, it stops being questioned. That is the shift most people never reach. You did. And now walking away would feel unnatural because consistency has become your normal. Not exciting, not dramatic, just real.
There is a quiet confidence that forms when you stop needing permission to keep going. Not approval from others, not reassurance from results, not motivation from emotion. Permission from yourself. Before, you waited for the right moment, the right mood, the right circumstances. Now you move regardless. That shift removes a hidden weakness you carried for years: dependence. Dependence on feeling good, dependence on progress being visible, dependence on life cooperating with your plans. Life will never fully cooperate, and you no longer need it to. You've learned how to operate in imperfect conditions. Tired days, unclear days, days when effort feels heavier than usual. Those days used to stop you. Now they shape you. You don't label them as bad days anymore. You label them as training. Training for endurance, training for patience, training for composure. This is where self-respect deepens. Not the kind that comes from praise, but the kind that comes from knowing you did what you said you would do, even when no one was watching. That kind of self-respect changes how you carry yourself. You speak less, you explain less, you doubt less, because you no longer need to convince anyone, including yourself. Your work speaks quietly. Your consistency speaks steadily, and slowly, pressure that once felt heavy starts to feel familiar. Not easy, familiar. You've adapted to responsibility. You've adapted to showing up without guarantees. That adaptation is strength. Most people wait their whole lives to feel ready. You chose to become ready by acting. And once you understand this, that readiness is built, not felt, there is no situation left that can completely stop you. You may slow down, you may struggle, but you will not revert, because the person who avoids effort no longer feels like you.
At this point, the comeback stops feeling like a phase. It feels like ownership. Ownership of your time, ownership of your energy, ownership of the direction you are moving in. Before, life happened to you. Now you decide how you respond to it. That doesn't mean things are easier. It means they are clearer. You no longer confuse discomfort with danger. You no longer mistake effort for something going wrong. Effort is expected now. When obstacles appear, you don't dramatize them. You don't personalize them. You deal with them. This is a major shift, because most people lose power the moment they emotionally react to resistance. You've learned to stay neutral, focused, present. That neutrality is not indifference, it's discipline applied to emotion. You don't let frustration decide your next move. You don't let doubt control your pace. You act from principle. Principles don't fluctuate. They don't negotiate with mood. They don't disappear when results slow down. They hold. And because they hold, you hold your position. You understand now that setbacks are not signals to stop. They are signals to refine. Refinement requires patience, and patience is something you've earned, not through waiting, but through repetition. This is where many people become impatient again. They expect recognition. They expect acknowledgement. You don't. You've outgrown the need to be seen. Your focus is inward now, on execution, on precision, on maintaining the standard you set. That inward focus gives you an advantage. It protects your momentum from outside noise. And when momentum is protected, progress becomes inevitable, slow, sometimes invisible, but real. You're no longer chasing the comeback, you're sustaining it. And sustaining something meaningful requires a level of maturity most people never develop. You did. That's why this time is different.
Now comes the part no one talks about: living with the version of yourself you worked to become. There is no celebration here, no finish line waiting with applause, just responsibility. Responsibility to maintain what you built, even when no one is pushing you anymore. This is where discipline is tested at its highest level, not by difficulty, but by comfort. Comfort returns quietly. It tells you you've earned rest, that you can loosen control, that one step back won't matter. This is the most dangerous moment, because comfort doesn't destroy progress suddenly, it erodes it slowly. You understand this now, so you stay alert, not anxious, attentive, not tense. You don't live in fear of slipping back. You live in awareness of your standards. Standards are not rules you enforce aggressively. They are boundaries you respect consistently. You don't need to prove discipline anymore. You practice it naturally. When temptation appears, you don't wrestle with it. You recognize it and move past it. Because temptation has lost its authority over you. The old patterns don't disappear completely. They just lose influence. They no longer decide your actions. They no longer control your pace. You've reached a point where your default behavior aligns with your long-term intention. That alignment is rare. It doesn't make you perfect. It makes you stable. And stability is what allows growth to continue without constant struggle. This is not the loud victory people imagine. It is a quiet one.
A life that moves forward without needing to restart, without needing dramatic comebacks again and again. Because this time, you didn't just change direction, you changed how you live inside it.
This is where it ends, and where it truly begins. Not with a rush of emotion, not with a dramatic declaration, but with a settled certainty. You are no longer waiting for a breakthrough. You became it. The comeback you once imagined as a moment revealed itself as a process, a long one, a demanding one, and one you stayed with. You didn't change overnight. You changed through repetition, through restraint, through the quiet refusal to return to who you were. There is nothing left to prove now, no audience to convince, no version of yourself to outrun, only work to continue. And that work no longer feels like punishment, it feels like alignment. You wake up knowing what is expected of you. You move through the day without inner conflict. You end it without regret. That simplicity is powerful. It means your energy is no longer wasted on indecision. Your focus is no longer fractured by doubt. Your time is no longer traded for temporary comfort. You are present in your effort, consistent in your standards, calm in your direction. This is not the end of struggle, but it is the end of confusion. You know who you are now, not because you declared it, but because you lived it. And if life tests you again, and it will, you won't panic, you won't spiral, you won't disappear. You will respond the only way you know how now, with discipline, with clarity, with follow-through. That is the real comeback, not something you announce, something you sustain. And from this point forward, there is no reset button needed, only continuation.